Imagine a ruler whose greatest enemy isn't a rival army gathering at the borders.
Right.
It isn't a rebel uprising, and it's definitely not some assassin hiding in the shadows.
No, it's something much closer to home.
Exactly. His absolute greatest enemy is his own mind.
Wow.
I mean, imagine a paranoia so deep, like so all-consuming, that the sheer psychological weight of it literally crushes him to death.
It's terrifying to think about.
It really is. Like, what actually kills a dictator? Is it the people, or is it, the insomnia?
That's the million-dollar question.
So, welcome to today's deep dive for the Simplified Summary YouTube channel. We're going to answer that exact question.
And it's a fascinating one to unpack.
But before we get into the psychology of absolute power, I want to humbly ask you to hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share your valuable comments below.
Yeah, please do. Your support is, it's the engine that keeps this channel growing.
It really is.
Yeah.
It allows us to keep bringing you these deep dives.
And those comments especially, they give us a compass for what to explore next,
Exactly. So let's jump right into this. Our mission today is to explore an incredibly impactful micro story.
A really brilliant piece of writing.
Yeah, it's titled Ati Kar Chinta, which translates from Hindi to the anxiety of authority, or the anxiety of power.
Such a great title.
Right. It comes from the legendary writer Munshi Premchand, specifically found in his collection Mansarovar Part 6.
Right.
And we really need to clarify the premise right out of the gate because, well, it's a fable.
It is.
Our protagonist is a character named Tommy. And Tommy is a literal dog.
Literally a dog.
Yeah. Through some turn of events, this dog has somehow found himself ruling over all the forest animals.
Which is such a fascinating choice by Premchand. He's typically known for his sweeping, very realistic narratives of rural Indian life.
Yeah, usually very grounded.
Exactly. But here, he strips all of that away. He uses this fable format to deliver this profound, almost terrifying philosophical punch about the psychology of a tyrant.
Right.
By making Tommy a dog ruling over a forest, he completely removes all the complex political machinery we usually associate with, human dictators.
Like, there's no parliament.
Right. No parliament, no generals, there's no national treasury.
Just pure authority.
Exactly. There is only power and the mind of the one holding it.
And right from the very first lines, we learn that Tommy is completely consumed by a singular obsessive fear.
He's terrified.
Yeah, he is terrified that a rival might rise up against him in the country.
Always looking over his shoulder.
Always. He has achieved the top spot, but he has absolutely no peace.
None at all.
And the text makes this incredibly direct correlation between his lifestyle and his mental state.
Which is so interesting.
It says that as his taste for luxury, for pleasure and enjoyment increased as the days passed, his anxiety and paranoia grew right alongside it.
So let's break down the mechanics of that correlation, because it runs completely counter to how most of us view success.
Right, because normally we think more stuff equals less stress.
Exactly. We generally assume that power and luxury bring security. Like, if you have the softest bed, the best food, and the highest throne, you should feel safe.
Makes logical sense.
But Premchand is illustrating the exact opposite mechanism here. Luxury creates vulnerability.
I'm trying to wrap my head around that. If I build a massive fortress and surround myself with comforts, shouldn't my stress levels go down?
You would think so.
Right. Like, how does having a softer bed make you more paranoid?
Well, think of it in terms of sensory adaptation and risk tolerance.
Okay.
When you're a regular animal sleeping on the hard forest floor, a snapping twig is just a snapping twig.
You're used to the elements.
Right. You're accustomed to a baseline level of struggle. But when you become accustomed to extreme comfort and absolute control, your tolerance for any variable drops to 0.
Oh, wow. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah. A single creaking floorboard in a silent, perfectly climate-controlled palace suddenly sounds like a gunshot.
Because it's so out of place.
Exactly. Your baseline for what constitutes a threat entirely shifts. Furthermore, you suddenly have an enormous amount to lose.
Right. When you have nothing, you fear nothing.
Precisely. When you have everything, everyone looks like a thief. So as Tommy's physical comforts peak, his psychological discomfort just skyrockets.
That makes total sense.
Good.
His luxury actually amplifies his sensory paranoia.
It feeds it.
The text shares this vivid, almost cinematic detail, too. It says Tommy would wake up startled in the middle of the night, panting, chasing an unknown, invisible enemy through the dark.
He's literally arming himself against his own imagination.
Yeah. There's a specific proverb used in the source text to describe him. A blind dog barks at the wind.
It's such a brilliant, haunting image. A blind dog barks at the wind.
It paints such a clear picture.
Because he can't see the threat,
Yeah.
Because the threat doesn't actually exist outside of his own mind.
Right.
He's reacting to shadows, to the rustling of leaves, to the very air moving around him. And the blindness here isn't physical.
It's psychological.
Exactly. It's a psychological blindness brought on by the intoxication of supreme authority. When your entire identity and physical safety are tied to maintaining this dominant position, every single variable in the world becomes a potential threat.
It makes me think of a very modern analogy.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Think about, like, a highly insecure corporate executive.
Oh, man, yeah.
Right? They finally get the CEO title, get the corner office, the luxury company car, the massive bonus.
The whole package.
Exactly.
Right.
But instead of settling into the role and actually leading, they become blinded by the fear of losing that top spot.
They get paranoid.
Totally. So they start fighting completely imaginary battles. They fire their best managers because they suspect disloyalty.
They hire consultants to spy on their own teams.
Yes. They exhaust themselves and everyone around them over threats that don't even exist. I mean, they're barking at the wind in the boardroom.
That is a perfect analogy. The underlying affliction is exactly the same. The Ati Kar Chinta.
The anxiety of authority.
Yes. The luxury becomes a gilded cage, and the paranoia is the lock. And because the CEO, or in this case Tommy, is the one generating the fear, there is no external solution.
Right, because you can't defeat an enemy that lives entirely inside your own nervous system.
You just can't.
So if his nights are spent chasing ghosts and barking at the wind, his days must be absolutely exhausting.
Oh, completely draining.
I mean, how do you even govern a forest of animals when
Right.
you're running on zero sleep and pure adrenaline?
You don't do it well, that's for sure.
Right. The text shows us that because he was terrified of losing power, he didn't rely on being a good, competent leader. He relied on highly manipulative propaganda.
His nighttime terror necessitates his daytime tyranny.
Exactly.
He has to manage his subjects through a very specific, calculated narrative. He gathers the forest animals and delivers this speech that is essentially a masterclass in authoritarian framing.
Oh, it really is.
He tells them, God forbid you fall into the clutches of another ruler, he will crush you.
He will crush you. I mean, it's the contrast principle at work.
Exactly.
He's trying to make any invisible alternative sound so incredibly horrific that his current paranoid rule feels like a blessing.
Precisely the mechanism. He's establishing a dynamic where the outside world is this existential threat to the animals.
Right.
Then he positions himself as the sole savior. He explicitly tells them that he is their ultimate well-wisher.
The well-wisher.
Yeah, he claims he is always thinking of their betterment, and he warns them not to expect such care from anyone else.
So I have to jump in here. That is just a classic protection racket.
It really is.
He's behaving exactly like a mob boss. He is manufacturing a crisis of safety, this hypothetical other ruler who will crush them, and then offering himself as the only solution to that fear.
It's a very classic, very effective psychological manipulation. By painting any successor as a monster, Tommy ensures that the animal's self-preservation instinct is tied directly to keeping him in power.
He ties his fate to theirs.
Exactly. He makes his survival synonymous with their survival. He's basically telling them, if I go down, you all go down worse.
And according to the text, the animals respond exactly how you'd expect in that kind of environment.
They fall right in line.
Yeah, they give him a uniform response. They tell Tommy that as long as they live, they will remain under his subjugation.
Right.
But let's look at human history for a second. We see real-world dictators rule for 40, 50 years, using this exact playbook of fear and propaganda.
Unfortunately, yes.
It works. I mean, fear is a highly effective management tool. So why are we framing this as a fragile illusion in Tommy's case?
That is a crucial distinction to make. Real-world dictators who survive for decades do not rule on personal paranoia alone.
Okay, what do they do differently?
They institutionalize the fear, they build a secret police, they build massive bureaucracies of terror, they delegate the violence.
They systemize it.
Right. They create a system that runs even when they're sleeping. Tommy hasn't done that.
Right, Tommy's just one dog.
Exactly. Tommy is trying to maintain absolute authority through sheer individual force of will. He is internalizing all of the vigilance himself.
That sounds exhausting.
It is. There is no institution protecting him. There is only his own hypervigilance. And that brings us back to what loyalty actually means in this specific context.
Right, because when the animals pledge lifelong subjugation, that isn't genuine loyalty.
Not at all.
It's an echo chamber of compliance.
Yeah.
It goes back to that toxic workplace analogy we talked about.
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever seen subordinates give a terrible, tyrannical boss glowing 360-degree feedback?
Sadly, yes. All the time.
Right. They aren't doing it because they actually respect the boss's vision. They do it purely out of self-preservation.
Exactly.
They know the boss is deeply paranoid. They know the boss is actively looking for enemies to punish. So they overcompensate with massive declarations of eternal loyalty just to stay off the radar.
That's spot on. The animals aren't pledging loyalty to a leader they love. They are pledging submission to a threat they want to appease.
Yes, appeasement.
When Tommy demands reassurance, the animals give him the only currency he accepts: total subjugation. But there is absolutely no emotional bond there. No genuine respect. By demanding absolute agreement, Tommy has completely blinded himself to reality. In an echo chamber of compliance, no one will ever warn you about a real threat, because delivering bad news is just too dangerous.
He thinks he has secured his reign through this whole well-wisher propaganda, but all he has done is ensure that his subjects will only obey him for exactly as long as he poses a direct physical threat.
Which sets the stage for the physical toll of his rule. The illusion of a stable kingdom is entirely dependent on his physical ability to project that threat.
Which brings us to the climax of the story, and I mean, it is a breathtaking pivot.
It happens so fast.
It really does. We move from this illusion of total unshakable control to a sudden, inevitable collapse. Tommy does not die in a glorious battle. No. He isn't assassinated by the invisible rival he was so terrified of.
There's no grand rebellion from the forest animals either.
Right. On the seventh day, the text reveals the unfortunate Tommy dies simply because he becomes frail, shattered, and exhausted.
He is destroyed by the very thing he constructed to protect himself. Wow.
The Ati Kar Chinta, the anxiety of authority, was the actual assassin. Not a rival animal, not a predator. His own nervous system collapsed under the weight of his paranoia.
Let's dig into the biological reality of that, because for me, that's a massive aha moment. How does a nervous breakdown literally kill a dog or a person in 7 days?
Well, it comes down to the adrenal system and how the body handles stress.
Okay.
The fight-or-flight response is an evolutionary tool, but it's designed for short bursts of extreme action.
Right, like running from danger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If a tiger jumps out of the bushes, your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline so you can run away or fight for your life for, 5 minutes.
For 5 minutes, yeah.
But it is profoundly toxic if it's just left turned on.
It's like leaving a car engine revving in the red line.
Yes, exactly. If an animal or a human stays in a state of hyper-aroused fight or flight for 168 hours straight, which is 7 days, the internal organs begin to shut down.
Wow.
The heart gives out, the immune system crashes.
The body literally just eats itself. Yes. The broader implication Premchand is illustrating is that power maintained through constant hypervigilant paranoia is biologically and structurally unsustainable.
It's a literal death sentence.
It is. There is also this deep irony in the timeline. In literature, the seventh day often carries symbolic weight.
Oh, like a cycle completing.
Right. It usually marks a cycle completed, a time of divine rest or judgment. Here it marks the absolute fatal limit of Tommy's physical endurance. The mental weight of a terrified rule eventually destroys the physical vessel holding it.
Tommy thought his armor was his suspicion. He thought barking at the wind kept him safe from the wind.
But it was the barking that killed him.
Exactly. The mechanism of constantly looking for threats flooded his system with so much panic that it shattered him.
Ugh.
The tyrant is the first victim of his own terror.
He spent all of his life force trying to secure his future, and in doing so, he mathematically guaranteed he wouldn't have one. He burned his own engine out.
Which leads us to the immediate and honestly chilling aftermath in the forest.
It's a very stark scene.
This is where we see the transition from the moment of Tommy's death to the bleak reality of his legacy. And I want to ask you, the listener, right now, what stands out to you about human nature or animal nature in this next part?
Pay close attention to how they react.
Right, because the text gives us this devastating ending. Once Tommy dies, after all those loud pledges of lifelong subjugation from the animals, not a single one of them goes near him.
Not one.
Not a single one. No one even discusses him. Not a single tear is shed over his corpse.
It is the ultimate proof that the loyalty was nothing more than a survival tactic.
Just a facade.
Exactly. What's fascinating here is the absolute immediate apathy of the subjugated. They don't even mount his head on a spike.
Right, there's no dramatic revenge.
No, they don't throw a party to celebrate his death. He simply ceases to matter entirely. He becomes instantly irrelevant.
The exact second the physical threat of Tommy is gone, their connection to him evaporates.
Poof.
Gone. It proves that respect demanded through fear leaves zero legacy. Like if you build your power on actual betterment of a community, you leave a legacy.
Right, people mourn you.
Exactly. They mourn you, they remember your policies, they discuss your impact. But if you build your power on fear, you leave a vacuum.
The moment the fear is removed, the connection is severed as if it never existed in the first place. But, the text doesn't just stop at the animals ignoring him.
Oh, it gets darker.
It goes a step further into total eradication.
Right. For a few days, only scavengers hover over him, the vultures and the crows.
Just waiting.
Yeah. And ultimately, nothing is left but his skeletal remains, picked totally clean.
The imagery of the Scavengers is the final, definitive commentary on the nature of his rule.
It's so visceral.
In life, Tommy hoarded luxury and power. He viewed everyone else in the forest as a potential threat to be managed and manipulated. In death, the forest reclaims him in the most brutal, utilitarian way possible.
He just becomes food.
Exactly. He is reduced to mere biological sustenance for the lowest rung of the ecosystem. The vultures and crows don't care about his former authority.
They don't care about his speeches.
No, they don't care about his title. They only care about the calories on his bones.
It's a stark visual metaphor.
Hmm.
I mean, once the superficial trappings of his power are stripped away, the luxury, the loud voice, the nighttime patrols, there is nothing substantial left.
Nothing at all.
No love, no loyalty, no historical impact, just bones in the dirt.
Synthesizing the entire text, the core takeaway is this eternal truth about leadership and authority.
Which is?
True authority cannot be sustained by paranoia, by the hoarding of luxury, or by psychological manipulation. Power that relies on making others feel small and afraid is inherently unstable.
The house of cards.
Exactly. It destroys the ruler from the inside out through the crushing biological weight of anxiety, and it destroys any genuine connection with the ruled. A legacy built on fear literally gets picked to the bone the moment that power inevitably fades.
It's a sobering reality check for anyone in a position of power.
Absolutely.
Whether you are ruling a country, running a massive corporation, or just managing a small team at a local business, the mechanics are the same. If your team is only agreeing with you because they're afraid of your reaction, you aren't leading them.
You are holding them hostage.
Exactly. And you are blinding yourself to the real world.
The echo chamber of compliance offers comfort, but it never offers safety.
And it brings us back to that opening image we asked you to imagine. The ruler whose greatest enemy was his own mind, crushed by his own paranoia.
It really is tragic in a way.
It is. So before we sign off today, I want to leave you with a final, lingering question to ponder on your own.
I love these.
Think about Tommy's vast reserves of energy, the sheer physical and mental calories he spent waking up in the middle of the night, barking at the wind, hoarding his luxury, and crafting manipulative, fear-mongering speeches.
It's exhausting just to think about.
Right. So what if he had taken that exact same amount of energy and spent it actually caring for the forest animals?
Wow, what a shift that would be.
Right. If he had been a true well-wisher, instead of just playing one on stage to protect his own skin, would his end have been different?
Almost certain.
Or is the very nature of absolute unchecked authority inherently isolating and self-destructive, no matter who holds it? It's something to really think about the next time you see someone desperately clinging to the top spot.
The anxiety of authority is a heavy crown.
It certainly is. And to our Simplified Summary YouTube audience, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Munshi Premchand's brilliant micro-story, Ati Kar Chinta.
It's been a great discussion.
Truly. Humbly, I remind you one last time. If you enjoyed unpacking this allegory with us and had a few aha moments of your own, please hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and most importantly, share your valuable comments below.
We really want to hear your thoughts on Tommy, on the psychology of modern leadership, and on the anxiety of authority.
Yeah. Did this remind you of a boss you've had? Let us know. Keep the channel growing, and we'll see you on the next deep dive.